Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Kill Her Goats. Yes, that's what I said. Kill Her Goats. Horror movie it looks like they spent some money on. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 10. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget Kindle. Unlimited is free. And when I say they spent money on this movie, I mean in kind of the low budget way. This reminds me a lot of how they used to make an 80s movie. There are no stars in it that I could see, but there are hot girls, like 3 or 4 at least. And they're pretty smoking. I think you'll agree. So the premise of the movie is one of the girls, their parents buys them this old house, which is also a vacation house, because I guess they're insanely rich. Here are the 3 girls. Hot. Sitting around in their underwear drinking. All this looks great. Until some kind of goat man attacks. So there's some old legend. This is like the one guy in the movie. There's some old legend about the tuft house, as they call it, that she has purchased, and for some reason goes out to the cemetery in her underwear. And there's evil goat men about for some reason. I don't quite understand the origin of the goat men. They don't really explain it. But there's a lot of screaming and a lot of hot chicks and a goat men or man or multiple goat men. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell from the trailer. And then there's a final showdown between 2 of the girls where they have, it looks like swords, but they've got jagged edges on them. And I mean, they must spend a little money on that. They've got these hot cars. They shot in a pretty scenic vacation era. Here they are again, screaming. They discovered one of the girls dead. They've got this scene. Hand bra scene. It's pretty 80s. Hello? Is anyone there? It's like every single 80s slasher movie. And then there are goats there. The goats somehow tie in. I guess they're here are the girls fighting with I don't know, swords or axes or something, and they're both bloody. I don't know why they're fighting to the death. Hot chicks fighting to the death. I mean, this movie is insane. And a monster. Kill Her Goats, it's called. I don't know why it's called that. Has something to do, and then here, like a goat man comes out of the water and grabs the girl. I looked over the credits earlier. Here, there you go. Steve Walsh is the guy behind this. And he wrote, produced, and directed it, edited it. I think he did the cinematography as well, if I'm not mistaken. So Steve, definitely doing all the heavy lifting. But I gotta say, story-wise, I'm not so sure this is gonna work. I mean, you know, it's not a poorly produced movie. Even the hot girls they got for this movie, they're not particularly bad actresses or anything. I mean, you know, they seem to be saying the lines, and I mean, they don't seem to be phoning it in, so that's good. I just don't really get the whole goat thing. I really don't. But okay. So, hot chicks, goat monster. It's an 80s movie. It's an 80s slasher movie, like they used to make. Every minute. Oh, this takes me back. Oh, this takes me back. And kudos to you for coming up with a unique name, Kill Her Goats. Sure. Not sure what it refers to. Are the goats transforming into men? I don't know. Are the spirits of the toughs who used to own the house inhabiting the goats and then turning into monster men goats and then accosting these beautiful women? I don't know. It's nuts. So I can't just dismiss this movie out of hand. I wouldn't. Because I think they put some serious money in it. You don't get girls like this to be in there in the movie unless you pay them a decent amount of money, especially if they're going to go topless. Now, I don't know if you actually see anything in the movie. I would assume you do, or at least a little. But, I mean, these women are hot. Kudos to you for casting hot chicks, because it makes me want to see the movie. It really does. If they had just cast like a bunch of randos, theater majors, I'd be like, well, looks weird. But you got the girls on top of that. That's production value, as they say. And they went to a nice resort town to shoot this. So I think they spent a little bit of money. Not a lot. I mean, they didn't go crazy. But, you know, for a low budget horror movie, yeah, they're spending the money in the right place. Even the music's decent. It's not my kind of music, but it's like, it's something. It's a bit memorable. So it again reminds me of 80s slasher movies where they would play music underneath, as opposed to a real low budget. They don't even really have the money for a decent score, so they just don't put any music in the trailer. So slasher movie wise, seems pretty standard. First act, some girl is going to this house in a place called West Craven. It's on a beach. It's a resort town. Her parents are rich and bought her the house, and she invites her hot friends over to sit around in their underwear and drink. And it's all going great, and it's very sexy until someone points out that, oh my God, that's the Tuft house. You don't want to be in that house. Why? Oh, terrible things happen. Like, and then the second act is all about slowly discovering who the Tufts were, why the house is haunted by goat men, I guess. I don't know. Now, if this is actually based on something, that would just blow my mind. And that would make it 1,000 times better. I don't know if it is. It's a weird choice, like goat men. Like, I've heard somebody was telling me about dog men, and I was looking it up on the internet, and that seems to be a thing. I'd never heard of the goat men. And they're not particularly scary creatures. Dog man is a little scarier. Wolf man, scarier. You know, goats, they're not that scary. I mean, a lot of them, a significant amount of the goat population suffers from narcolepsy. And if they get too excited, they just keel over and fall asleep. So they're not that scary. There's not a lot of incidents where goats kill a person. Dogs have killed people. Wolves certainly have. So it's a weird choice. So I'm not sure if it's meant to be funny. If they had added some humor in this, oh man, I'd be all over this movie. It appears like they're kind of being serious. And then there's a guy in it. I guess he's dating one of the girls, and he's determined to scare them out of the house, I guess. And so that's an element too. So that's a good thing, because you got a bit of a red herring. Maybe in some of these shots, it's actually him in a costume trying to scare him off. But then the real goat man is disturbed and shows up. I don't know, the ghost of Mr. Tuft, who was obsessed with goats and then became a goat himself. I don't know. Third act. By the third act, these girls are running, screaming, because, I don't know, a bunch of people have been killed on the island, and the survivors are trying to... I don't know why two of the girls are fighting to the death. That's suspicious. Like, maybe one of the girls is the cause of all this. Maybe the goat men aren't interesting, aren't supernatural, aren't the interest, I'll say. They were a ruse she used, like Scooby-Doo, to scare everybody off and kill her goats. I don't know. It's confusing. It's a confusing concept. But because you do have hot chicks, because it's weird, it's interesting enough, and the trailer holds together decently. It's not the greatest trailer. It doesn't excite me for the movie, but I'm kind of going, what the hell is this? So I guess mission accomplished. I certainly wouldn't go to the theater for this, but you know, if it popped up free on Netflix somewhere, I might go, well, let me see what the hell this movie was about, really. I have a sneaking suspicion it's a lot of scenes with people talking, the girls talking about the house, and then later talking about the monsters or the toughs or whoever, and being scared and screaming. There's a lot of screaming in the trailer. Some scenes in the shower, some scenes where they're hugging and kissing, maybe. I mean, you know, it's filler, but it passes the time in a way I enjoy. You know, by the end of this movie, I'll probably be like, okay, this should be a tight 88 minutes. Tight. Yeah. Because I don't see the point in dragging it out. After about a half hour of hot chicks, I'm just kind of like, well, now what? You got to keep up in the ante. But seems like there's a plan here to do that. So if he's structured this movie correctly, keeps sort of revealing things about the goats, and then slowly up in the ante with the girls, because I think they start with one girl, then they go to multiple girls, then there's a shower scene. Like, that'll carry me probably into midway of the second act before I'm like, ooh, there might be full-blown nudity in this. By that time, people are getting killed, and then the actual plot of the movie starts seeping in. Like, oh man, these girls are being killed. So yeah, so this could be pretty watchable. I mean, for a slasher movie. I mean, don't raise the bar too high. You know, but you know, it doesn't look. Well, I shouldn't say it doesn't look dreary. You know, slasher movies are kind of dreary, but the fact that you made sure to cast the hottest possible girls you could possibly get, and you threw them in the mix, and they're all laughing and giggling the entire trailer just about, and then at one point they're fighting to the death, I guess. That's kind of funny in a different way, right? It's not like intentional funny. It's like, oh, this will be so crazy people will start laughing kind of funny. Which, yeah, that is a strategy to pursue in a movie like this. Why not? At least it's a little different. At least you're kind of having fun with the concept. And maybe it actually goes somewhere. I don't know. So, yeah, Kill Her Goats. I don't know when it's coming out. Did they give us a date here? I don't think they did. Sorry about the wait. Oh, it says at the end. I don't know why it says that. But you can go to killhergoats.com for more. Let's do that. Killhergoats.com. Let's see what it says here. Yeah, they got a good logo and everything. About the movie. Let's read a little bit about the movie. Here's reasons to watch the film. Kane Hodder kills her. What? Kane Hodder kills and Kill Her Goats. I don't know who that is. So I guess that's the Goat Man, I guess. Bloody stunning in 4K Ultra HD. I'm not so sure I need that. Practical FX, no CGI. Okay. Anamorphic widescreen. Okay. Now with 3 times the Playmates. Oh, these are Playboy Playmates. No wonder they're so hot. Good call. Filmed on location in Cape Cod? Do you mean Cape Cod? That's kind of a bad typo. Yeah, West Craven. Takes place in the fictional town of West Craven. Oh, okay. Is that named after West? Oh, like Wes Craven. I get it. Oh, here's a bloody guy. Second collab between Kane Hodder and Steve Walsh. I don't know who that is. Funded by one of the most successful Kickstarters of all time. Oh, okay. So this was a Kickstarter movie. Official vinyl soundtrack released by Real Gone Music. Good for you. That's a good plan. Low budget guys get a good soundtrack. Helps the movie. Helps the band. Using three live goats helped bring magic to Kill Her Goats. No goats were harmed in the making of this film. Okay. Monica Sims as Reese, Playmate of the Month. Man, no wonder these girls are smoking hot. Well, good freaking strategy. Holy cow, what a great strategy for a low budget film. You note I stopped there. Anyhow, I may have to watch this. Now it's a Kickstarter. Well, this is how you make Kickstarter movies, I guess. Yeah, not a bad strategy at all. All right. That's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan. We'll be back at 7 tonight with the live stream. Tonight we're doing reboots, as per Carl's suggestion. Reboots and remakes, too. I mean, the list of remakes is massive. I can't mention them all, but the list of reboots I don't think is long enough, but we'll talk about it, see, get into it, the difference between remakes and reboots, and how I pretty much despise most of them. But there are a few that are worthy, I think. Surprising number, because you don't really think, part of it is parsing whether it's a remake or a reboot. But we'll get into it at 7. Hope to see you there. See you in the next one.